Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be testing out Thermal Master's new P3 Thermal Imager, and this works for Android or iOS. I really like the idea of this thermal imager because you can buy this one device and use it on iPhone or Android and not feel like you're stuck with one type of phone, and you can switch back and forth and it'll work just fine. But something different on this is that it has an 8mm macro mode, and you can see a 0.25mm resistor. The focus lens goes from 8mm to 80 meters. So you'll be able to look at PCBs up close, which is really neat, and I haven't had a device that's able to do that yet. And it has a high temperature range, and it goes up to 1112 degrees Fahrenheit or 600 Celsius. A few more specs on the side, and it has a 512 by 384 Super IR resolution. I think the actual sensor size is a bit smaller. To be able to use this, I'm going to go ahead and download the Temp Master app. And I already have it on my Android phone, but I'm going to get it on my iOS device. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed here. We have the instructions. You can extend your warranty up to 3 years. It looks like you have to register it, and it's got a quick start guide, probably a lot of different languages. And then in here, we have an extension cable. I believe you can get an app for your Windows computer to be able to run this, and it's got USB-C that goes to the USB-C on the device, and you can also convert it to USB-A. And it looks like the device comes with a nice little case, and they even have their logo on the zipper. Kind of just a nice little touch, but it's just a kind of a hard shell zipper case, and you can tell that it's quite well made. It seems to be like an aluminum housing, and I do like how they gave us a bit of a raised connector so you can get past cases. And check this out, in the case it comes with a USB to Lightning adapter, and I think you can use this on iPhones all the way back to iPhone 8, but you do have to use the adapter, so that's pretty cool. I really won't need that because I have the iPhone 16, but this is the focusing ring, and there's no battery that you have to charge. It just uses a little bit of power off your phone, which I like that a lot better than, like, say the FLIR One Pro, where you have to charge it up. And if your phone is getting low on battery, you can always just use a MagSafe charger. And I like how the lens is kind of recessed, so you're not gonna bang it on something and damage it. And it appears that the P2 is about 1/3 of the size of the P3. That's a pretty big difference. However, the P3 has a focus ring on it, which gives it macro capabilities. And if we stick them in the cases, you can see it's still about 1/3 of the size or so. However, you can stick this extension cable and the lightning connector adapter in the case, and it fits in there nicely. So it's cool to have it all together. And it's about the size of the FLIR One Pro case, and it's actually still a bit smaller than the FLIR One Pro itself. Okay, let's go ahead and test it out on this Android phone. We'll plug it in, and I already selected to open the app automatically when you plug it in, and it doesn't take long at all for it to come up. Let's play with the focusing a little bit. It's way out of focus there. And there we go, nice and sharp. That looks really good. And next up, we'll try it on an iOS device. This is an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So plug it in, and I'll probably have to go to, oh wait, would like to say allow. Oh, and it opens it up. And I'll hit camera. It says initializing data for the first time. Please wait. Looks pretty similar. It'll ask you for permissions, but it pretty much looks the same as the Android phone. That's cool, it works on both of them. You can see the lag, just a very slight amount. And I believe this is 25 FPS. So it looks like you're watching an actual video instead of some stop motion. Okay, real quick, we'll go through the settings on the main menu. First one is gallery. That's just where it saves your pictures and your photos that you take. And then the camera button obviously goes to the camera. Settings, you can log in. Maybe that's how you register it. So you can get the extended warranty. Device details, gives you all the information about your device. You can do a factory reset. And then image settings, we have automatic shutter, video recording sound, video automatic shutter, split screen, watermark display, time display, temperature settings, got burn protection. I'll just leave that on. You can select the units, Kelvin, Celsius, or Fahrenheit. I'll leave it at Fahrenheit. You can set up a temperature alarm, so it has a high or low. So you can set what temperature it goes off at, and you can have an audible or a vibration alarm. Pretty cool. Variable correction. This is where you set it up so it's going to be the most accurate depending on what material you're looking at. And then other settings, you got language, about us, privacy, that kind of normal stuff. And then FAQ, feedback, and also user manual. So that's pretty cool, has the whole user manual in here. It's very convenient to have it all right there in the app. But anyways, let's check out the camera. You can zoom in so you can get the focus just perfect. But it looks like it's pretty much the same as the P2. It's the same app, so I would imagine it would be. But you could turn X3 on or off. It doesn't look as good or sharp with it off. It's a huge improvement when you turn that on. You can change the temperature range. You can do -4 to 302 or 212 to 1022 or just have it on auto. Let's keep it on auto. It just shows you right here your zoom level. If you want to zoom in or out, you can calibrate the sensor and activate the shutter right here. I'll say calibration successful. And up the first one, you can rotate the image 90 degrees, depending on which way you want to hold it. You can mirror it. You can show the scale, which is useful, and you can customize that. You can change the contrast, brightness. In the next one, you can have an image overlay, just like the P3. And you can actually change how big it is or small it is, move it around on the screen, turn on or off, and the transparency of it, which is pretty handy. Then you have record video or take a photo right there. And then this one, you can change the colors. Lots to choose from. Just run through them all. And the bottom one, you can choose the point and it'll tell you the temperature. Let me turn the transparency off. It's not getting in the way. It just says 0.1 down there. And you can, I think you can add a couple points and delete them. Font color, you can change the font of the temperature in case it's kind of covered. And then you can draw a line and it'll show you the average, maximum, and minimum on that line. And then a box tells you all that stuff within the box, or you can do a circle. Pretty cool. Not sure what this is all. Oh, it just goes back to showing the cold, the hot, and the middle. Okay, so I really want to check out the macro function, and I got a drone here opened up with the flight controller exposed, and we'll go ahead and plug it in so we can take a look. If we weren't able to focus, it would just kind of look like a weird blob, but let's go ahead and turn that focus ring, and look at that. That looks so cool. And you can see all of those details in the flight controller. You can see the microcontroller. It's pretty hot. However, there's a little SMD. It's not the LED. Not sure what it is, but it's 127 degrees. But that is so cool. Let's get a little closer and see how much we can focus. So even if we get really close, you can make that image sharp. Look at that. That is so neat. For comparison, this is what the FLIR One Pro looks like. If you hold it up a bit, it doesn't look terrible, but definitely not nearly as sharp. Like you can't see all those legs really on the microcontroller like you can on the P3. But the FLIR One Pro also doesn't have any kind of focusing. Next, let's do a little comparison of the FLIR One Pro and Thermal Master P3. Now you can see the FLIR One Pro definitely has a bit more lag and also has a much lower frame rate. I got a little rig set up here so we can compare the two side by side. And I do have the P3 focused for kind of further away. FLIR One Pro is quite a bit wider. But here's a closer look of the air conditioning. And on the FLIR One Pro, I have the little outlining lines turned off just because I don't think it looks very good, in my opinion. On the FLIR One Pro, it looks kind of goofy. But there's a close-up of the air conditioning. You can see where the condenser is down below. It's nice and toasty. Got cold air coming out, about 40 degrees at the coldest point. And you can see the hot air outlet pipe. Definitely a little toasty, almost 100. And we'll turn over here and you can see the computer monitors, the hottest point. And here is the top of my PC. And it definitely looks a lot cleaner on the P3, and you can't really see like through the glass with thermal imaging. But anyways, let's move along. Now go ahead and turn the hot water on from the sink, and it's starting to warm up and it looks like lava. Now up to almost 100 degrees, and we can look under the sink. There's a better view. There's a light on the ceiling. And of course we can do the hand trick on this concrete wall. Here's the freezer and the basement. Taking a look around. And here's the hot water heater. The hot water pipe going up. Go outside. And start this motorcycle up. You can see the exhaust is getting hot quick, but definitely a lot more detail on the P3. I definitely like the macro feature and that you can focus the image manually on the device, and also that it's cross-platform, so you don't have to worry about not working on iOS or Android if you decide to switch phones later down the road. Anyways, let me know if you like the FLIR One Pro or the P3 better down in the comments below. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later. Peace out.